We're at Otter Creek. This is a stream restoration project that was completed by Ecotone. This is part of the settlement agreement with Brunner Island and Talon Energy from 2019. They provided $100,000 through a supplemental environmental project, and part of that money went to stream restoration here on Otter Creek. My name's Ted. I serve as the Lower Susquehanna Riverkeeper Executive Director for the Lower Susquehanna Riverkeeper Association.
This plant has been generating about 400,000 tons of coal ash waste every single year. And it's been putting this waste into unlined coal ash ponds on an island out in the Susquehanna River. So one, we need them to stop polluting the river. We need them to clean up these leaky coal ash ponds. And two, we need a safer design that won't just be washed away by the next storm.
It's been well known over the years that there has been contaminants coming out of, and pollution coming out of the coal ash basins that are here on site. You can say it's going back to at least 5 years that there's been exceedances for standardized limits for various heavy metals that causes devastation to not only just us humans, but fish and wildlife as well. So we did uncover some sources of pollution here, doing some sampling along Blackgut Creek. The results that we got depicted high levels of arsenic, aluminum, lead, and some other various heavy metals. Well, like I said, the levels and the concentrations of the contaminants that we're seeing, they're very high, and they exceed the limits. It is a violation of the Clean Water Act. So with that, it needs to be cleaned up immediately.
Today we're filing a three-party consent decree in federal court that resolves the violations that the citizens raised with regard to coal ash disposal practices at the Brunner Island electric generating station. The Department of Environmental Protection for Pennsylvania sat down with us and wanted to discuss the concerns that we had. Talon did the same, and we agreed to see whether we could reach a settlement, a three-party settlement that resolves our claim, that addresses some issues the Department of Environmental Protection had, and also brings the potential litigation to a close for Talon.
Today we're celebrating a victory for the river in that the owner and operator of Brunner Island, Talon Energy, is going to correct the problem in that one of the unlined basins where they are pumping coal ash into, they have stopped discharging into that pond. It is going to be dewatered, and it's also going to be excavated. So what does that mean for the river? It means that we're going to have less toxic heavy metals in our river. Personally, for me, I'll know that the river is just a little bit more healthier now with this win. And as a river keeper, obviously, we will pursue other opportunities to make sure that our river continues to improve. So it is my mission, as a river keeper and as a citizen, as a normal citizen, to make sure that our water remains clean. Clean water is important for all of us. So in 2018, this entire valley was flooded. We got a lot of floods in July of 2018. Another reason why this project was chosen was because this stream was essentially destroyed. I mean, houses were, taken off of their foundations. We did a lot of cleanup effort here too, but it also needed some restoration and it needed some help. And part of our settlement agreement, we had $100,000 that went to a supplemental environmental project. We were looking at shovel-ready projects that were already designed that can be easily implemented. We had to approach a local organization to take that money and then to disperse that money to these projects. So the organization that we chose for it was the Watershed Alliance of York.
I'm Emily Neidig. I am the Secretary for the Watershed Alliance of York and also the Watershed Specialist at the York County Conservation District. The Watershed Alliance of York acted as kind of the pass-through for the funds and administering the SEP. We had two projects that we oversaw, the design permit and then construction of. Actually, both projects, the landowners originally approached us at the Conservation District to request assistance to fix their stream. And then when Ted said that the settlement fund was looking for some projects, we put those forward as two potential ones for that funding. And then eventually it ran through the Watershed Alliance of York as an organization that could accept that funding. And then of course we worked with the contractor, Ecotone, to actually complete the project.
I'm Matt Lysis, human Swiss Army knife for Ecotone. Mostly do design and construction oversight this way and then that way to avoid this steep slope and that steep slope. But at Ecotone, we're always looking for projects that are going to improve the water quality and to be able to do that with resources that instead of impacting the environment, we can use it to help repair and heal the environment. We included some habitat features such as this mud sill with the root wads. That'll keep an undercut so that there's deeper habitat underneath there for the larger fish to lay down. And then amongst the root wads, the smaller fish can exist and avoid predation, but then the larger fish can feed. And that'll stay cleaned out because it's right at the meander. The scour action of the stream will keep that opened up. We dug out the pools to be deeper for the trout who like the cold water habitat, especially the larger ones. Incorporated some woody debris habitat and some rock boulders. The nice thing about putting branches and trees and woody material in the stream is that it creates diverse habitat for some of the smaller fish like dace and chubs to the medium fish like the sunnies and up to the trout, which is the target species for the habitat. So if we can increase the numbers of all the populations, then we increase the habitat for the trout. That's one of our employees. He took that picture a day after they built this mud sill in the bank here. He caught a 14-inch rainbow trout right in front of the mud sill we put in. As soon as we get hard frost, we'll be able to incorporate some plantings with live staking. The density of those roots from the live stakes, the shrubs and the trees will hold that soil back. So this matting that you see, the grass you see, is just temporary until the permanent woody material kind of takes over, and the root mass is the real long-term soil retention solution. So by doing this, we reduce erosion, we prevented the banks from collapsing, and also incorporated this habitat. So instead of making it an issue for impacting the downstream habitat and within this project reach, we use the materials in here to create a meaningful project that will not only stabilize these banks, but provide quality habitat to match what's happening upstream and downstream, which is this is a fairly high quality trout stream. This spot was certainly causing sedimentation and pollution to downstream reaches, and this prevents that from impacting those areas. This is Otter Creek, and this Otter Creek will dump into the Susquehanna right at the recreational area downstream there along the mighty Susquehanna.
We're fortunate to have waterkeepers around the world. When they go after a polluter who's in violation and is violating the law and is affecting water quality and affecting public health and aquatic species, when they pay penalties, that money is put right back into the environment. So in this case, when we had sued Brunner Island, these monies went right back into restoring our local waterways.